Hey guys, it's KenMaxfield, the Hide Guy. I am the owner and the managing editor of the Maxfield Report, and this is our market recap for the week ending December the 20th. The week started out with Packers having an offer list that appeared to be a little bit shorter in the number of selections offered than the past couple of weeks. Noticeably different were the lack of offers of regular weight steers, although there's still a few out there. Most offer lists were dominated by offers of jumbo material. As far as asking prices, for the most part, Packers left asking prices unchanged. The other noticeable part on the offer list was the fact that it appeared that shipments moved out about a week on most selections. So, of course, Packers were boasting of having decent sold forward positions. Interest to start the week just didn't feel like it was nearly as plentiful as last week, and I'm not aware of anybody who was saying last week was busy, evident of the USDA export report that we'll talk about here in just a couple of minutes. In fact, as the week progressed, most people said that the interest started to fall by the wayside. Business that was concluded at fully steady levels. Overall, I'd call this big Packer market no worse than steady. Any attempt to try to push prices higher continue to be met with some pretty firm resistance from buyers. But that said, you cannot buy hides any cheaper from Packers this week. So on the cow hides, they've had a pretty good run here the last 2-3 weeks. Producers entered the week buoyed with some confidence. They were laying claims to having decent sold forward position, able to liquidate all these unsold hides they had. Offer list noticeably shorter than last week. Asking prices higher by most of the producers. As far as interest, again, not as plentiful as the past couple 3 weeks. Still some people looking. Of course, having a little trouble dealing with these higher asking prices by the producers. Long story short, though, those who were going to step in and buy hides ended up having to pay a little bit more for cow hides this week. And, we're calling that the cow hide market slightly firmer this week. So good news for those guys selling the cow hides. As far as the harvest came in, we saw 668,000 animals meet their maker this week. That is the second largest of the year. There is some chatter this afternoon that maybe some of the Packers might withdraw some of their harvest intentions tomorrow. That maybe is a little bit of a game play by Packers because we have a short harvest next week, the week after. Live cattle prices have been bumping up and bumping up. Box prices kind of, they did spike a little bit earlier in the week, but they'd been coming down from where they're at. So I think that's a little bit of a play by the Packers if it does happen, and that's just to try to manage these live cattle costs. So, but 668, 662 was last week, 660 last year. Overall, we're going to finish the year up 1.1%, about 350,000 ahead of last year. If you've been following me throughout this year, I've been, I was calling at the beginning of the year, we'd be up a 1 to 1.5%. So it looks like we're going to get one right for a change there. As far as the export report, a very anemic report. In fact, disappointing as far as sales. Whole cattle hides of 392,200. Of course, there were some sold for 2020 of 67,000. Sales of wet blue anemic at 5,500, and for 2020 it's 18,500. So overall, even if you say 25,000 for the domestic soak, we're about 150,000 short of last week's harvest. Usually that would be for some concern for the trade, but with the way things have been going in the sold forward position and with some holiday weeks coming in front of us, most people are going to give this report a bit of a pass. Probably not going to have a whole lot of effect on the market there. We'll take a quick trip around the world. Our friends in Europe are telling us that things are better. As I've said to you in many blogs before, I'm a firm believer that their market trails us by 4 to 6 weeks. They're moving right along, getting up to the levels we're at, if not exceeding them on some of their selections. And you try to buy hides cheaper in Europe, it's just not happening. If anything, they are selling hides at slightly higher levels than they were, say, 2 weeks ago. So good news for the folks there. Still, some chatter about some chilled hides backing up because of the automotive tanners in the European area not taking as much product, so we'll have to keep an eye there. down in Brazil, we finally have some good news down there. It appears that the lower grades have been cleaned up. Interest on TR1s is improving. I would say prices are higher on TR number ones, somewhere in the neighborhood, 50 to 55 cents. People bidding below those levels are finding producers not willing to take it. I hear that crust is still pretty plentiful down there and not seeing the same improvements as wet blue. So keep an eye on that one there. As far as fresh hides, packers are even getting a little bit more money for fresh hides, which is good news for them as well. And probably not having to select as many hides and send those to the landfill or sell them to the gelatin people as they had been. In Australia, the country continues to be plagued by fires. One of our sources said the air quality in Sydney is the poorest in the world right now because of the fires. That certainly has impacted their harvest. Drought-like conditions continue. That's what's obviously fueling the fire. Price is very firm down there. They're coming up on their annual shutdown period where a lot of these abattoirs are going to close between 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. Sellers are feeling pretty good about things. They're selling hides out now for production come second half of January. So if you're looking to buy hides down there, you're going to have to pay more money. We're waiting for confirmation of higher prices, but I know this for sure. You're probably not going to buy hides cheaper down there. So as far as what I think is going to happen next week, that one, you're going to have to log into the website. I offer free 14-day trials of the website. I don't ask you for a credit card. I don't believe in that. Go to the webpage, www.themaxfieldreport.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. You'll see the banner for the free trial. If you need a little bit more time than 14 days, I can talk to the boss, maybe get you a couple extra days. But try it out. You're going to find that the information I have is by far superior than any other report you're getting. You're missing out. So that's it for this week. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. Check out the website. Well, until next time.